'Tis the season, the most wonderful time of the year. Celebration with friends and family. It's time to pay tribute to this jolly month. So join us as we get into the Christmas spirit. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but this is Venom on the Shelf.
Wow, I clickbaited the hell out of you, didn't I? I actually didn't mind this movie.
What?
Doesn't mean it's good though.
Oh my!
My favourite Disney movie of all time is the animated 1991 Beauty and the Beast. It's a touching love story.
It's about bestiality.
It's a touching love story.
I'm sure of it.
With gorgeous animation, catchy musical numbers, a strong female character and a strong relationship that focuses on what's on the inside.
He kidnaps her and holds her prisoner until she falls for him.
It's beautiful!
Silly you.
A great villain, dark scenes but hilarious comedy. It was flawless.
But do you know what nobody said whilst watching this? Let's see this in live action.
Amazing.
Originally, the movie was set out to be a stage musical, adapted from the 1994 version, but it wasn't until 2011 when that was completely cancelled.
That same year, after the success of all the other live-action adaptations, they decided to shove a spike up my childhood's butthole and do Beauty and the Beast as well.
Bill Condon
Bill Condom!
was hired to direct, but originally they wanted a lot darker, much like Snow White and the Huntsman had been. However, Frozen soon terrorised their lives and they wanted to change their style back.
They only wanted to adapt some of the musical, however, using only half of the songs from the original, and even settled on canning the songs entirely at one point. Condom hated this idea and threatened to walk until they caved and said, no, you're right, we're stupid. Yeah, we'll do it your way.
The idea was that the audience who loved the original had grown up and wanted a darker version instead, before realising, hey, we're being idiots. Adults can feel like kids again. Let's do that!
Emma Watson was the first choice as Belle, and Paige O'Hara, who voiced the character in the animated original and its sequels, actually offered to help her with the singing lessons she was required to take for the part. There's something very sweet and also very patronising about that.
Sorry.
And apparently behind the scenes, Emma Watson nearly ended up in La La Land, while Ryan Gosling nearly ended up as the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. Thank God history went the right direction, I must say. The film was well received by critics and was obviously a financial hit, but many fans hated it for trying nothing new, retreading absolutely everything from the original and just disgracing a classic with monotone, terrible singing and awful CGI.
And of course the film sparked controversy. Gaston's sidekick LeFou was seen dancing briefly with another man. That was literally it. Yeah. Belle was basically dating a dog, but two homos is too much! Even though Timon and Pumbaa were a gay couple!
Director Bill Condon
Condom!
lashed out saying that he was sick of this in movies and people taking everything so seriously. It's on the screen for a few seconds. Beauty and the Beast is all about everybody's individuality. It shows interracial couples. Surely Belle snogging the Wolfman is worse than LeFou being gay? And what's wrong with being gay anyway?
I want to help you.
In fact, this tiny scene even got the movie a 16+ rating. Are you kidding me? Two men dancing together raised the rating. But it was also questioned not because Belle is banging her pet dog, but because Beast literally holds her hostage and then she falls in love with her captor. It promotes a bad image, which I honestly never really noticed before, but many believe that she had Stockholm Syndrome.
Emma Watson actually analysed this before deciding to sign on for the movie or not. She wanted to make sure that Belle wasn't in an abusive relationship before portraying the part, later deciding that she wasn't, as Belle constantly argues and disagrees with the Beast, which goes against the symptoms of Stockholm Syndrome.
Lighten up, it's Disney!
Emma Watson also agreed to come back for any future spin-offs, sequels or prequels which might be in the works.
This isn't that bad.
Yes, it is.
Again.
This is the fourth remake of Disney, and the third to be a direct remake, as Maleficent was more a retelling from a different perspective. And this is also the first to incorporate all of the songs from the original, as well as the songwriters Tim Rice and Alan Menken writing songs directly for the new version. The movie does have an interesting choice to actually visualize the opening narration, which could have worked if they didn't decide to seamlessly go against its own original dialogue. The film constantly reuses the original film's material word for word or shot, but only at times that contradicts the character's actions.
Alright, so I'll start off by saying that this movie is entirely pointless. It shouldn't exist. Nobody watched the original and wanted a live action version, but that being said, I have a lot of gripes with people who say this is a scene for scene copy of the original.
What?
Hear me out. I mean, right here, we're already seeing something new. And the film has a lot of new scenes throughout the film. Granted, it still doesn't warrant the movie's entire existence, but my point is, it's just not a carbon copy of the original, and it does try new things. Hell, 1 minute into the movie, and there's a song not from the original. Why the hell did he paint himself like the Ultimate Warrior? That being said though, why is the prince the bad guy here? In the original, the old lady knocked and asked for shelter, and he sent her away. Sure, dick. But here, they're having a party and she literally bursts through his door, ruining the entire event. I'd be pretty pissed off too. I don't see him as the bad guy here. And why does the Enchantress punish all of his servants as well? He's a dick, apparently. So she decides to ruin their lives too? Oh, and they do cover up the plot hole set in the original.
For the Enchantress had erased all memory of them from the minds of the people they loved.
Smooth.
There were some questionable moments in the original.
No, there weren't. It was flawless.
The original claims the Beast had 10 years to break the curse by the time he's 21, which means he was only 11 when he was cursed. Where was his parents?
And how come nobody notices this bizarre castle nearby with seemingly no inhabitants? The film gets rid of the whole 10-year thing, but the last one, that still stands.
Sounds boring.
The set looks gorgeous though, so at least it has that going for itself. Before we cut to our first song, and although it's a mirrored copy and a lot of the charm is lost in live action, I think it's fine. I actually think Emma Watson does an okay job.
Little town, it's a quiet village.
Oh god, the autotune's hurting my ears.
What? I genuinely can't hear any auto-tune whatsoever. I mean, this is auto-tune.
I wanna see you in slow mo.
Going slow, but you come fast. Only race where I come last.
And this isn't.
There goes the baker with his tray, like always. The same old bread and rolls to sell.
Don't get me wrong, she's not great. She's okay. She's alright.
Well, I can hear the autotune, and I don't understand why they use it so much. There's other interviews where her singing was fine, so why did they plaster it with so much autotune? That being said, the song is alright, the extras are pretty good, and it shows that at least some thought went into the production, particularly the production design. Not a whole lot though.
We will fall out.
Well, I believe I have.
I always wondered though, if Belle is the only one in town who actually reads any damn books, why do you even have a damn bookstore to begin with?
But then we see Gaston and LeFou, played by Luke Evans and Josh Gad.
Is it just me or does Josh Gad look just like Jack Black in the entire movie? But in an interesting choice, not only does LeFou have that dastardly gay dance scene at the end, but throughout the entire movie, it's heavily implied that he has feelings for Gaston.
That makes her the best.
But she's so well-read, and you're so athletically inclined.
I know. Belle can be as argumentative as she is beautiful.
Exactly. Who needs her when you've got us?
I actually really like this idea. I mean, it's new. I didn't really notice it in the original if it was supposed to be implied there. One thing this movie does do a lot better is LeFou's character. We'll go over it more later, but he has a whole arc and a lot of it is built around his loyalty to Gaston and how heartbroken he is when he makes the wrong decisions and possibly showing envy when he tries to pursue Belle. This is a cool new touch.
The thing is, Luke Evans doesn't do a bad job as Gaston, but Belle just comes across as a massive bitch.
How?
Just look at how she completely rejects Gaston immediately, for pretty much no reason.
That happened in the original.
Yeah, she was a bitch then too.
You son of a bitch!
A massive bitch.
Stop it!
Nonsense!
But remember, this is just a carbon copy of the original, despite the fact that Belle's father Maurice even gets his own song.
I must admit, this song is perfect and really establishes his history well through song. It's simple, yet effective, and Kevin Kline delivers a heartfelt performance with it. It's actually an addition I can get behind for this version, whereas in the original he was very over the top, and obviously that might not translate well to the remake. Here, he's a little eccentric, but very sweet and caring, which really works.
I'm actually disagreeing. I don't like Maurice in this version.
Oh great, this means you're gonna hate all the good things I like about this shit.
How embarrassing.
Okay, so this is sweet, and the connection with Belle and Maurice is handled better. They have more of a close bond, and we see more of their relationship. And they even go into Belle's mother's backstory, which we'll go on to later. But my problem is, there is no reason for anyone in town to find either of them weird. Which is the entire point of the characters. I mean, in the original, Maurice was this crazy crackpot inventor who always screwed everything up. Belle, okay, she just read a lot, but she always defended her father, which made her weird by association. Here, there is literally nothing bizarre about Maurice whatsoever. Hell, towards the end, when Belle heads off to save the beast, he even gets a badass moment. But none of that sequence makes sense because Maurice shows up with this huge story about the beast and they all say,
Crazy old Maurice.
where has he ever been shown as being crazy? Where? I'm glad they gave the character more screen time in purpose, but it doesn't work when he's completely normal and everybody in town treats him like a freak for no reason.
No.
I mean, they even go the extra mile and have Belle get ridiculed for teaching a child to read. Seriously? Just in case we didn't get it enough already? Who is this heartless? How are these children even learning anything if they're not allowed to read?
All right, boys, just a bit of snow.
Yes, Maurice, but it's fucking June.
Mum said I wasn't supposed to move because it might be scary.
Sorry. It's all right.
Okay, that was funny.
Here's the problem I have. In the original, Maurice was greeted by all of the enchanted objects, made to feel at home, but then the beast sees him as a trespasser and locked him up. In this version, none of the enchanted objects actually do anything. It's pretty much the Kevin Kline one-man show, and then he easily just leaves the castle. And then despite just witnessing a teacup coming to life, he still takes the time to pick a rose for Belle. I know that this is in the original fairy tale, but the problem is, it was to show the difference of Belle's priorities over her sisters when Maurice asks what she would like while he's away. But here, she doesn't have any sisters, so why does he still do this after his traumatic experience? And are horses really intelligent enough to be able to locate one person and then take them to specific locations like this?
That was in the original too.
It was stupid then too.
Stop saying that!
It's dangerous!
And she even manages to locate her father entirely on her own. Is everyone in this movie a genius? Clearly not, since they signed for the fucking script.
Now you must leave here at once. This castle is alive. Now go before he finds you.
Who?
Professor Snape.
Who's there? Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Hermione Granger. And you are?
Punish me, not him.
No, he means forever. Apparently that's what happens around here when you pick a flower.
Okay, that was kind of funny. But seriously, this is the design of the beast. It looks like a humanoid dog with ram horns. I know they're trying to copy the design from the animated version, but this looks way too soft to be considered even remotely scary. He's been CGI'd to death. Why didn't they just go the practical route and do makeup? I was so scared of the beast in the original. When you see the beast coming out into the light and his face shines in the frame, I was so scared I turned off the TV, took out the videotape, dumped it in the cupboard, and didn't watch the film for a year. This version's just fucking ridiculous.
I have to agree, he looks ridiculous. It's like if Teen Wolf had a baby with Chewbacca, and the voice makes him sound so posh, I can't take him seriously as threatening.
I'm merely locking him away. Now, do you still wish to take your father's place?
I mean, I know that he's rich and snobby, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to cower in fear at the Queen.
I saw that coming.
And here's another change.
Aha!
Shut up, it's not a good one.
Oh.
I told you to go away.
In this version, Lumiere and Cogsworth actually go against the Beast's orders. They're the ones who sneak Belle out and get her to her room instead of the man himself. This not only goes entirely against their characters, as they never disobey the prince, but it also takes away the moment of humanity from the Beast when he feels sympathy for Belle and shows her that he can actually care for another person. This makes no sense.
So you agree that they did something different?
I'll kill you!
People say a lot of things in anger.
But in this one, Belle actually has to trick her father to take his place. In the original, he just kind of gets taken out of the equation. At least here, it looks like Belle actually thinks this through and is quite an intelligent character. But why can they never just cast a French guy to voice Lumiere? He's voiced by Ewan McGregor, but despite being married to a French woman, his accent is awful.
What do you want to be for the rest of your life, Cogsworth? A man or a mental clock?
I'm married to a French woman 20 years, more than 20 years. And I thought, yeah, I can do the French accent. And I got there and I couldn't at all.
So if this managed to make it into the film, I cannot imagine how bad the accent was originally.
I can fix this.
And to add even more insult to injury, we've got Audria McDonald, the great Audria McDonald, voicing the Sleepy Wardrobe.
Cogsworth! A diva needs her beauty.
Are you kidding me? You have one of the greatest voices on stage and screen, given what is basically a bit part, whilst Robot Watson gets to whine with her ridiculous auto-tune. How dare you, Disney? How fucking dare you?
That was amazing.
But this movie had a staggering budget, so what is the excuse for this dreadful green screen? That is atrocious. Are you at all buying that they're really there?
The castle is your own now, so feel free to go anywhere you like.
Except the West Wing, which we do not have.
Why even mention it? Just don't even talk about the West Wing at all.
Is everything here alive? Hello? What's your name?
That is a hairbrush.
Okay, that was fun.
Oh, stay with us, madame. We have someone for you to dress.
I'll do it.
And then it goes to Gaston, who's feeling low, but why? He wasn't even pushy with Belle earlier. She didn't really embarrass him all that much. There's literally no reason for him to feel this depressed. But hey, the movie clearly doesn't care about its characters. Why should we?
And this is the worst scene in the entire movie.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Where did you get an idea like that?
The acting is fine, I guess. But this song truly shows why this movie just doesn't work in live action. Some adaptations I'm down with, but here, this song is about Gaston and how he's basically Chuck Norris and can do anything. Other than the titular song, it's probably the most well-known and catchiest tune of the entire film. It's one of the greatest villain songs in Disney history, but it doesn't work in live action. In animation, they can draw the character actually proving he can do all of these ridiculous things, and it's so much fun to watch. But in live action, he's just saying he can and dancing around and sword fighting just because. They do extend the track with more dancing, but it's painful to watch and the lyrics no longer fit the scene either.
As a specimen, yes, I'm intimidating.
No, you're not. I mean, just look at the original. Look at Gaston. Would you want to mess with this guy? His neck is the size of Brock Lesnar. Here, Luke Evans does fine with what he's given, but he doesn't fit the part. And that's the problem.
My issue is, Luke Evans' singing is okay, but he doesn't have the power that the original had. It just seems flat and lifeless. Gaston doesn't even do much in his own song. LeFou steals the entire show, and Josh Gad really nails it in this.
And his name's G-A-S-T.
I believe there's another T. It just occurred to me that I'm illiterate and I've never actually had to spell it out loud before.
Okay, that's funny. But in a nice change, in this version, when Maurice bursts in for help with the Beast, everyone laughs at him, but Gaston actually defends him and wants to help. This is a cool change and makes sense, as what better way to worm his way in with Belle than to impress her father. But God, I really wish the Beast wasn't CGI. It looks like Gizmo impregnated an Ewok.
And why doesn't he do anything about his servants disobeying him? They completely go against his wishes and he doesn't fire them or even yell at them.
Will you join me for dinner?
You've taken me as your prisoner and now you want to have dinner with me?
You asked me to act and now you want me to improve? Okay, I like Emma Watson, but she kind of just keeps the same emotion in almost every scene in this. And I get that she's trying to get away from Harry Potter, but this movie doesn't do a very good job at that. They literally make 2 references to the franchise.
Have you lost something again?
Well, I believe I have. The problem is I can't remember what.
The only problem is, I can't remember what I've forgotten.
And later on, she opens a book that takes her to the past to show her what happened to her mother. Exactly like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets! If you want to separate yourself from a specific role, maybe stop mentioning it all the time in the film. Just a thought.
Of course, of course.
But they actually have another change where the enchanted objects become to feel less human and more like the items they're possessed by. The more the petals of the rose fall, well done! They actually had a cool new idea.
If she doesn't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all! Idiots!
You can't talk to us like that, I forbid it. Oh, am I too late? Shame, I was really going to tell him off this time.
Okay, a lot of the banter between the enchanted objects is actually quite funny.
No!
But Belle has a bedsheet out the window and is about to escape, but when there's a knock at the door, she doesn't just climb out. Stupid cow.
Show me the girl.
How does the mirror know who the girl is? But also, how do they not notice the bedsheet? They walk in the room and it's clearly hanging out the window.
And this is where we get Be Our Guest. And like before, it's so underwhelming for what's shown on screen. It seems to take homages from the Golden Age musicals in the 1930s, but there's absolutely nothing memorable about this sequence whatsoever.
Life is so unnerving for a servant who's not serving.
He dabbed.
Yeah.
He dabbed.
Yeah.
He fucking dabbed.
Oh, that's it.
And as well as having absolutely zero charm, it just never seems to end.
He's not whole without a soul to wait upon.
Is anyone gonna just let me eat?
And in one of the pinnacle moments in the story, in the original, it successfully builds up the tension in the West Wing, not showing the Beast and exploring the entire castle with Belle. It takes its time and does so effectively. In this version, she doesn't even lift the glass. She barely even touches it. And suddenly the Beast is triggered. It's also rushed. And then she runs out the castle, but earlier she was trying to climb out the window, so why doesn't she just walk out the door if it's this easy? She's clearly not even a real prisoner.
And the horse has literally been waiting here for her the entire time.
And that's when the Beast saves her from some wolves, which admittedly is a nice moment where their relationship begins to blossom. But the problem is, it's like it's on fast forward mode, because then we cut to Maurice and Gaston and LeFou, who give up and tie him to a tree to be eaten by wild animals.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I don't understand. This movie is 2 hours long. Longer than the animated version, and yet it rushes absolutely every moment that could have been expanded on the characters. The shorter animated version was able to develop the characters better than this.
It was downed by lightning at the time, but now it's resumed an upright position through some sort of magic or other.
You really want to marry into this family?
Who cares? It's funny. And this is what I mean with LeFou having more of an arc. Gaston gets angry, but his friend tries to calm him down and is heavily reluctant to leave Maurice behind like this. It's a lot better than him just being Gaston's stupid sidekick who obeys his every command. And as they bond, Belle learns that her and the Beast aren't too different as they both have parental issues before we get another new song showing their connection and intimacy grow. How is this a carbon copy? There's been loads of new scenes. If anything, the relationship between Belle and the Beast actually has more screen time and development here than in the original.
I disagree. The Beast's backstory is literally boiled down to that. Nothing more is developed. Why did he become so evil and selfish? We don't know. We don't care. And the new song is passable, but it's far too short to actually leave a proper impact on the audience. And not only is the Beast suffering from a robot voice, but it's so painful to have to listen to the amazing voice of Audrey McDonald sing with Auto-Tune Watson.
The spell we're under, still it's the wonder of us I sing of tonight.
How in the midst of all this sorrow.
Damn it, Watson.
What happens when the last petal falls?
The world ends. And then Maurice is saved by a random old lady.
She's the Enchantress.
No.
What? And again, it's just on fast forward. Him showing her the library should be a magical moment, but it's just rushed and lifeless. And it's not even the truly joyous moment it deserved and got in the animated version.
But why does he also eat like an animal? I mean, he's still a human, right? Just in an animal's body.
There's something sweet and almost kind.
Ah, my
He was
ears!
mean, he was
Howard
coarse and
Ashman and Walt
unrefined.
Disney are turning in their
And now
fucking
he's
graves right now.
dear
It's
and
fine.
I feel as if I'm seeing it for the first time.
Wish I could say the same for this movie.
That's when they have their cute little snowball fight, which really builds their connection well, followed by a new scene. There's loads of new stuff. What y'all talking about, Willis?
But this fucking book is one of the worst additions made for this film. It's completely unnecessary, pads the film's runtime, and doesn't add anything. We learned that her mother died, but that's it. Who saw the original and wondered that or even cared enough for this film's existence? How does the book even work? Why was this given? Take it out and nothing of the story would be affected whatsoever.
You know what? You're kind of right. I mean, I think the song is sweet and it's nice to learn about her mum, but did we really need to? It's not essential and it doesn't add anything.
So, when Maurice returns and informs everyone that Gaston left him to die, it seems the villagers believe him initially and then begin to turn on Gaston, but this is literally never touched upon again. He uses the Enchantress.
She's not the Enchantress!
Sacre bleu! As a witness, but Gaston laughs it off. So he uses LeFou, but the next time we see everyone, they're still blindly following him, so why was this even added?
I can't help but love LeFou's character though. Gaston demands he lied to protect him and he's initially reluctant before cowering and lying out of fear. He's clearly got a heart of gold and is trying to do the right thing. The character is really well written in this version.
And this is the titular song. But it is awful. I mean, they are quite cute together, I suppose, but it's the exact same scene shot for shot. The dress isn't even nearly as breathtaking as it was in the animated version. It's just lifeless and boring. And despite its decent cinematography, Emma Thompson doesn't deliver the grand voice needed for the song like Angela Lansbury did. Sure, Lansbury isn't the best voice I've heard in theatre or cinema, but at least there was a heart there for the song that works, even in her live performances. And in fact, in the original, her take was the first take. But here, there's more auto-tune again, and there's just no life to the music. It's completely bland and not that magical. And even the dancing is boring. Just one lift. That's it. But then Belle learns of her father's danger and the Beast sends her to him. But that book completely ruins this entire conflict. They can literally open that book and get her to him immediately. She doesn't even need to leave the castle. And before you say that they couldn't interact with the objects the book takes them to,
The doctor's mask.
He picked up the fucking mask as he said that line. So obviously he can interact with things in the places they're taken to. This movie has created unnecessarily plot holes based on its own stupidity.
But then we get another new song after the Beast lets Belle go, and I don't care, this song is fucking amazing.
I'll never shake away the pain. I close my eyes, but she's still there.
I must admit, it gives the Beast the emotional moment needed for his character. Dan Stevens isn't the best singer, but he gives it his all, and it's all the power needed. I actually consider it to be one of the best recent songs that's been written by Alan Menken and Tim Rice, perfectly capturing his love for Belle. Though it is a bad sign when the monster has a better voice than... Ah!
Stop that! But I do find it weird. She clearly is reluctant to leave, and he says for her to go, and does her returning just not enter their minds? No, her leaving forever and never coming back is the only option.
Belle returns to the village, but no one believes her story.
The monster has her under his spell. If I didn't know better, I'd say she even cared for him.
He's not a monster, Gaston. You are.
You're a monster.
You're a monster.
But weirdly, she uses the magic mirror to show the Beast as evidence, but how do they know how to get to the castle? This was a plot hole in the original as well, but they didn't amend it here either.
And the villagers don't even bat an eye. They just instantly form a lynch mob. Sure, let's rush to the ending. I'm not complaining.
And LeFou continues to impress as he actually tries to stop Gaston from going through with this. This is such a cool character.
I know what happened to Maman.
Then you know why I had to leave her there.
So why didn't you tell her that before? And some fucking furniture somehow overpowers an entire village.
It is admittedly quite impressive to look at. Oh no, another gay joke! Hide the children, hide the children!
And Gaston even abandons LeFou mid-fight. Well, I sure hope they don't completely ruin all of the development they built up for this character, because I'll be rather miffed if that happens.
Oh look, the old lady is here. I wonder who she is. But the fight is one of the slowest and most sluggish fight scenes I've ever seen. What annoys me more is that Belle is just there on the side watching. She could have joined the fight, thrown rocks to protect him. Something. What, changing her dress was more important than saving the one she loves?
How does the Beast survive a gunshot? He's still human. In fact, how does Gaston manhandle the Beast? Is the Beast superhuman or isn't he? But the biggest travesty of this entire movie...
Oh boy!
This is the biggest missed opportunity in Disney history. What was the point in all of the build-up of LeFou? What was the point in any of it? You constantly show that he's a decent guy at heart, and whether or not he actually had feelings for Gaston, he questioned his actions and tried to do the right thing, but is scared to do so. He constantly tries to stand up to him and is then betrayed, and then you don't even have the common decency to let him be the one to kill him and get his revenge? They just copy the original and do the lame cliche of him dying without the hero actually being a murderer. Have some balls! Fuck you!
This is a threat to our very existence!
And we're led to believe they all die and it's too late before the Enchantress reveals herself. Removes the curse, despite the fact that he already ran out of time. False advertising, you witch bitch.
But weirdly, she has to literally say she loves him for it to work. What, feeling it just wasn't enough?
It's Dan Stevens. It's Dan Stevens.
Yeah?
He's just so dreamy.
Henry!
Oh dear.
Oh, I've been so lonely.
Turn back into a clock. Turn back into a clock.
Okay, that was funny.
What? What is it?
How would you feel about growing a beard?
Look, the movie is entirely pointless. It shouldn't exist. It does have new stuff in it and it tries some new things, but that doesn't warrant its 2-hour existence. The acting is pretty good aside from a few bad reads. The CGI of the Beast is hilarious, some bad green screens, the songs are well done, especially the new ones. LeFou was much better despite his horrible ending, and the relationship was developed a lot smoother. It's an alright film, but it shouldn't have been made.
This is a terrible adaptation, one of the laziest remakes I have ever seen, and it's the second most successful live-action remake of all time. Bullshit! Terrible singing, terrible changes to the story, and underwhelming as fuck compared to the animated version. It's basically a carbon copy of the animated film.
No, it's not!
That's made just to make money for Disney. Hell, I'll still take the classic French black and white Jean Cocteau version over this in a heartbeat.
You take that back!
Never.
There's a reason why the animated film is praised and remembered so much. It's memorable, charming, and it still gets replayed to this day. I wouldn't be surprised if this film is forgotten. It's what it deserves.